So hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is David Cerna. Our EdTech session today is all about getting started with Thinglink and creating immersive experiences. We have Louise Jones, Director of Community and Partnerships with Thinglink. We are so happy to have her here today. And before we get started, I do want to just walk through on how to access Thinglink here at UDC. And then after that, Louise will go ahead and present her presentation. So let me go ahead and share my screen with our Blackboard LMS. And feel free to also say hello in that chat box. So first one, if everyone can see, I am in our Blackboard LMS learning system, and this is how you access Thinglink directly here. This is already integrated very easily within Blackboard. So here's an example of my sandbox. If I go to the left side, under Books and Tools, click on View Course and Institution Tools. And then on the right side of the screen, you should see Thinglink right here on the right. If you don't see it here on the right-hand side, just click on Browse All Course Tools. Once I click on that, if I scroll down a bit, I'll see Thinglink again. And what we'd like you to do as a best practice is instead of just clicking on it, click on that little plus sign. And that will add Thinglink. And let me go ahead and just accept this. That will add Thinglink as a link right here directly within your Blackboard course content. Once I click on this, it will launch and connect directly. So that's the first way that you can access Thinglink directly from within Blackboard. Now let's go over the second way. If you go to thinglink.com, you'll see in the upper right corner, it says log in. So once I click on that, I'll log in. And I'm already logged in, so let me log out and let me show you how it looks like if I'm not logged in. So once I click on login, you'll see right here, it'll ask you to log in with your email and password. We don't want to choose that. We'll choose our Microsoft integration. So remember, we have our Microsoft 365 single sign-on integration. I'll click on that. And that will take me to this page, david.cerna@udc.edu. That's my account with UDC. Once I click on that, that will take me to Thinglink right away. So this is our UDC account. As you can see, it looks the same if I log in with Blackboard or log in at thinglink.com. Here is my account. Last but not least, let me go ahead and share my iPhone screen and how to log in from your iPhone. So just give me a second. Okay, and I believe everyone should see my iPhone screen now. Give me a second. Okay, does everyone see that on the screen? Excellent. So on your iPhone or your Android device, if you go to the App Store, you can see that you can just download Thinglink. Once you download that, it'll look very similar to how you log in on the Thinglink website. So let me go back. And right here, if I click on Thinglink, you'll see that sign up, continue with Microsoft, continue with Google. You want to continue with Microsoft, and it's the same single sign-on process as you would do on the website. So I'll go ahead and pick my account, which is david.cerna. If you don't see this here, just log in using your UDC email and your information. And then once you do that, you'll see that Thinglink is right here. The great thing about the Thinglink app is that you can also upload photos, images directly from your phone. So I find this quite useful. Also, the same process if you're using this on a smart device, like an iPad. Are there any questions from the group before I move on? And I did make another video about how to log in. So I'll go ahead and put our Thinglink resources right in the chat box. So if you check out our Thinglink resources, you'll find also this video that will go over all 3 ways to sign into Thinglink with our UDC accounts, right? And with that, I'll take it away, or I'll hand it off to Louise. Thank you, Louise.
Hi, and thanks ever so much, David, for that wonderful introduction. I'm delighted to be here with you all. And This is your time, so I really want you to get the most out of this session with me. So feel free to put any questions into the chat. I'm really happy if anyone says, can you show us that again? Or you've got any particular questions. Remember, if you ask something, then you might just be saying the very thing that someone else is thinking, but they don't want to actually type in and ask. So do go ahead, don't be shy. I'm also going to share everything with you that I'm presenting this afternoon for me, this evening, morning for you. So there's a slide deck, and I've already put that into the chat. And if you go into that slide deck, you'll see that all my examples have got links, so they're really interactive. And I'm really happy for you to keep that deck, edit it, change it, share it. It's yours to do whatever you want with. So as David said, I'm Louise and I work for Thinglink. I've been here about 2 years now, but my background is actually education and youth culture. So I've been working in education for about 20 years, and I specialised in looking at what impacts on the way that young people live, learn and work, and how that changes with the introduction of technology. I'm showing my age now, and other ways in which we see changes that really impact on learning and teaching. Before Thinglink, I worked for Google for a short time, which I absolutely loved. But before that, I was working in a district, a bit like this one, in the north of Scotland. I should say I'm up near Loch Ness. I'm not far from Inverness, about half an hour that way. Always welcome to visit. Dr. Kevin, yes, as you heard, I am broadcasting to you live and direct from Scotland, and it's actually sunny today, which is a rare treat. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and you'll see that I've got the slides that I've already shared with you. So I'm just going to click present, and hopefully we'll go into that. So hopefully you can see that okay. So this deck I've put together, and I keep it updated. So if there's anything new, I can update it for you. I'll be able to go back in. So do keep hold of it. But there's a few really important points. You know, I'm not just saying this for fun, that Thinglink genuinely is the nicest EdTech tool out there. We are 11 years old now, and it's really sustainable. We've got a sustainable model. It's not a flash in the pan EdTech tool that's just sprung up because of the increase in learning from home. It really is a tool that's been grown and developed from user feedback as well. So we are 11 years old, as I just mentioned, and over that time we've developed really important partnerships. And the first one is with Microsoft, and I know that you are a 365 using authority organization, and that's really important, not just because of the single sign-on, but because we also have integration with Microsoft Teams, so you can post Thinglink into your Teams channels. But we also have other integrations like PowerPoint, so you can actually embed your Thinglinks into PowerPoints, and we can have a look at that. But for me, and I should have said my background is actually in accessibility as well, it means we have access to Immersive Reader. And that means that the text in your tags in Thinglink will open up an Immersive Reader. And that just brings a whole world of accessibility options. As I mentioned, we are the nicest EdTech tool out there. We don't just pin our colors to one particular EdTech industry giant. We are partners with Google as well. So we work in Google Classroom. But also it means that when you use the embed tag in Thinglink, you're able to embed Google tools and products really nicely as well. So Google Maps, for example, or Google Forms, other Google products will look really nicely in there. So I think that's good to set us up. So I know that some of you have already had a look at what Thinglink is, but it's so much more than virtual tours. And this is just a little video there that you can click on just to immediately see how you can bring images like a 360 image or a plain image there that you can see to life with these hotspots or tags. And in those hotspots or tags, you can add in any other kinds of media. So think of it as layering up your media. And of course, you're able to use videos, and you're also able to use 360 videos as your base for your immersive and interactive kind of content. And we're used by 30 million people globally. There's about 5 million creators in education. And this is lovely. And the reason I love this, because this is something that did come out of the last couple of years. And it was just a really simple way of using Thinglink. And you'll be able to click on this and it'll open it up for you so you can see it. This is a Thinglink that was created by an educator based in Austin, in Texas. And what she's done, and why I love this so much, is because she created this choice board because parents and carers were saying they were fed up of being bombarded with loads of different links and loads of different tasks to do. So she created this choice board to have the whole week's work directly on one board. But they've personalized it. So for example, you can click here and there's not only text, there's images, there's little introductions, and that's just a link that goes through to Mrs. Williams.
Hi. I hope you all are doing well. I just wanted to welcome you to our new classroom and way of learning. I hope you are taking time to do some fun things, and I can't wait to hear about all of them. I've been taking care of my stress, and I'm not too sure they have to have me around all the time. I've also been doing a lot of yard work, so that's been pretty fun. I want you to stay healthy and safe. I miss you all, and I hope to see you soon.
But just for those students that were at home kind of so used to just not having much communication, and to receive, you know, this personalized greeting. But what I love about this is that there is images and text and links, but cleverly there's these kind of blue pens and red pens where the teacher has introduced interdisciplinary learning, or universal design of learning, UDL, where you've got these kind of different options of different types of tasks to do. And I just thought that was a really lovely example, and it's had over 5,000 views now, but it just kind of really touched me. So yeah, I really like that one. Let me just go back onto my presentation. So that kind of thinking really enabled me to develop some of my own uses of Thinglink and how we can visually help our participants, our learners, to kind of really visualize the path ahead for learning. And this is actually a Thinglink that I created for our own course, a Thinglink Certified Creator. And when you click on it, it will take you to the image so you can explore it. But each of these points has got information about the different modules that people are going to be taking on the course. And this really helps to kind of set out the journey ahead. And we know that when we create resources like this, it really helps our learners to feel more connected to the journey that they're going to be taking. And this background, I know it might look professional, but I can assure you I've just spun it up on Canva, and I am not a graphic designer, but there are templates out there. There are ways in which you can create these lovely base images. And what I've also done with this is I've put in a little tag at the bottom with a text and media tag that's included a web view accessibility link. And this is a new feature that we've introduced. So if anyone's looking at this, and you can see these hotspots, they do open up with Immersive Reader. So you'll be able to have text to speech in these links, and you'll be able to translate these into over, I think there's something like 80 languages there as well. And of course, you've got text to speech back there. But what you're able to do with the web accessibility view, and I'll show you how to access that, is that when you click on it, it takes you to a web view of that Thinglink with all of the different options to change the way that it's viewed. But this will work with screen readers, and you can go through each of the tags in turn. So it truly is an accessible way. And you'll know as educators yourself, you can't ever assume what the kind of accessibility requirements are of your class in front of you. Some people, yes, they might have a record of need or statement, but there are other young people or people that maybe don't know that they have an accessibility requirement. They might have been prevented by their parents from getting an accessibility statement. So what we're trying to do is flip it and say, you know, this is accessible from everyone, for everyone, right from the very get-go. And that's had some lovely feedback. So I thought that was worth sharing with you as well.
And Louise, I see a question in the chat box. Can you go over how to access those accessibility options?
Oh, we will. Yeah, we're
Okay.
going to go through that when we do our little demo.
Thank you, Louise.
So I also, if you allow me to be a little bit indulgent, share with you some other really nice examples. And I've written a blog post called 5 Strategies Using Interactive Media to Accelerate Learning Experiences. And I can't emphasize enough that you, above all people, know that pedagogy is the driver to everything we do. You know, tech should be the enabler, it should be the accelerator, it should be the way of making things more accessible, possibly more in context for our users and learners as well, because people are becoming more au fait with using different types of media. So it can be culturally relevant as well. So that's why we see tech, EdTech, and Thinglink can be an accelerator. But on the slides, you'll be able to click on each of these, and I've got some really nice examples of project-based learning, gamification principles with Thinglink, how to use this for community engagement, virtual experiments, simulations. You can explore them all, but there's just a couple of examples that I absolutely love. So this is an example from Hawaii, and this is Mr. Fricano and his shoebox project. Now, who doesn't love a shoebox project? Now, I know this is for younger learners, but some of you will be going on to be working with learners, but the principles can really apply. So instead of just creating their shoebox and taking pictures from above, the students have taken the 360 image inside the shoebox using a 360 camera, and then students have been able to annotate and say how they made parts of the shoebox project. That was a task for them to do. So the teachers putting tasks in. But here they show how they've made an LED circuit to go into their shoebox with the light that works. Now, we do these kinds of projects with learners all the time, but how this was elevated was that the students could feel what it was like to live in their shoebox. It gave them this different perspective. And it was those moments of insight, those penny dropping, shiny eyes moments when you can really see learners take so much pride in their work. And, you know, if you go back and ask them 5 years later, you know, what they thought about their shoebox project, you can guarantee they'd remember it. I just think that's absolutely lovely. But that's at the kind of maybe, you know, kind of junior school. I know you have K-12, so for some of the younger, excuse me, learners. But if I come out of that and go back to my presentation, excuse me, I'll show you how this same thinking was then applied with older learners who were doing, we would call it kind of higher art. I presume it was like a college course, but here they've created a diorama of their favorite artist. And this particular student has used Frida Kahlo. So every part of the diorama has...
Frida est une femme bisexuelle qui assumait amplement sa bisexualité.
This is from a student in Canada. So each of the students had to do this as their final assessment, and not only did they design the diorama, but you can see they've thoroughly shown their research as well. And again, I just love this example because what I've shown you is two ends of a curriculum kind of progression from science, technology, and maths right the way through to arts, STEAM, we might call that. And of course, don't forget that these kinds of Thinglink designs, if you like, or scenes could be viewed with VR as well. So imagine making that and then showing learners that in that immersive capacity as well. I just love that example. So there you go. I'm jumping around my slides. You'll have to indulge me. So if I just spin on then, and we start looking at Thinglink in higher education. So we're working a lot with universities that have multidisciplinary teams for things like healthcare. And then this example, this is actually the University of Central Lancashire. What they've done is they created a kind of breakout room, an escape room in the ward where a patient has sepsis. And I can actually send you the link to it, but it's a really difficult subject. It could be really quite bland to teach people, but the lecturers here have really applied pedagogical principles that you know and love into higher education and even workplace learning, because they have current nurses and paramedics that will come and do the multidisciplinary training. And they said that this is so much more effective, it's impactful, but also because of the COVID restrictions, those learners were unable to go and be in hospital wards. So what they did was try and build this bridge with kind of workplace environments and then be able to access those in safe environments. So again, I thought that was a nice example to show you. So I could talk about examples all day long, but I'm not going to. So we better move on now to have a look at Thinglink and how you might use it, and we'll how you can use it, and we'll also have a nice demonstration. So as you've heard from David, Thinglink works in the cloud. You can access it on your Chromebook, on your Mac, on your iPad, on your phone, and it will all work and accounts all sync together. So I have Thinglink on my Pixel phone, so I can go out and take pictures. I also take 360 images on my Pixel phone because you can use a photosphere or a panoramic image that you can pull in. But also you could use things like Google Street View to take true 360 images. And it also is great for field trips if you're out with students and you want to, you know, take images and upload them and do things on the fly. It's a really nice way of integrating technology with outdoor learning, I find, as well. So yeah, it will work across browsers and devices, and you'll see here that it's optimized for touch screen as well. People ask us why it doesn't pop up when you hover over it. And that's because it's optimized for touchscreen. And again, here's another, I've snuck this in, I've realized, is another really nice Thinglink with loads of examples of how you can use short video Thinglinks to describe and demonstrate concepts. And you'll be able to go in and have a look at those. That's all linked on that slide there. So when we start thinking about Thinglink, or maybe I should just pause there and just see if there's any other questions. Is there any other questions before we move on to the kind of nuts and bolts?
I don't see any other questions, but I do see some people saying, wow.
Oh,
I can see this being used for the nursing program. That's great.
Fantastic.
And Louise, I love that you also had those mini VR glasses.
I bought these because you showed me them. I went on to Amazon and I bought some.
Aren't they great?
How cool are they?
Yeah,
they're amazing.
They are great.
I've been demonstrating them to some of my team. We're going to get them Thinglink branded.
Perfect. Yeah, and for everyone else on the call, especially from UDC, remember that we do have these mini VR glasses. So when you do make a Thinglink, you can also have it in an immersive view with VR, and then this just goes on your smartphone, just like that, right? So very cool.
Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you, Louise.
Thank you. So what kind of, I think it's really nice to think about Thinglink in terms of 5 and 5. So 5 types of base media. So you can use an image as your base media for a Thinglink. And that is, I mean, it can be any size of image. There's a pretty hefty kind of limit on it. You know, you're not really going to upload an image that's going to be too big for us. And you can use a JPEG, you can use a PNG file, or you can use a GIF as well as your background. But the optimum size I think works really well is 1920 1080, which is 16:9. And if you're using Google Slides or PowerPoint, you know, that's a common size to have. It works really nicely. You can also use a 360-degree image, and that can be a JPEG, and it needs to be 2:1 ratio. So that's twice as long as it is high, and that when you upload an image in that size, it will automatically convert it to a nice 360. You can also upload a video as your base media, and you can put your hotspots wherever you want them to show on the timeline of your video. And you can upload up to 10 gigabytes, which is about an hour's worth of video. So I guess one of the nice things here is that if you want to upload a video instead of using a popular file sharing site, you could do that because you know that there's not going to be any adverts. And then you can just share the link to the Thinglink, which is the video. I do that quite a lot. And it's nice to know that you're using a tool which you have has been recommended for you by UDC. And you can also use 360-degree video, which is just fantastic. And then you're able to add hotspots in as the video is playing. You can also use as your base media a 3D model, and we'll come back and have a look at that in a minute. So with your base media files, remember that images are not just photos, they can be infographics, they can be screenshots. You could even make a visual CV, and think about the CVs of the future, you know, for young people today who might create a CV and actually put a video of themselves presenting or speaking Spanish rather than saying you speak Spanish like some people do. So your media files that are images can be any type of image or JPEG. And also with 360-degree images, remember you can take these and that might be a virtual tour, but what else can you use with 360 media? And then what you can do is, if you don't have any images or 360, we also provide you with a 360-degree library, and we also provide you with the option to search on Unsplash for images that you can use as your base media. So rather than just talk that through, I'm going to actually go into my Thinglink account now. So here I have my Thinglink account, which I'm in, and I'm just going to show you how easy it is to create an image from scratch. And just before the call, I asked David for a subject, and we talked about the Lincoln Memorial. So I think we'll use that as our topic for our class today, our demonstration. So when you log into your account, you'll see these folders, and these are folders that you can create, or they're folders that have been created and shared with you. It's really similar to OneDrive or Google Drive if you've used those before. And it's great because you can organize all of your folders and folders. For example, this is my Thinglink Certified Creator course, and there are the Thinglinks that are part of that course. So to get started, just simply hit the create button. It's as simple as that. Now I'm on a Mac today, so I could literally just drag and drop files into this pop-up. But cleverly, I can integrate with my Google Drive. I can integrate with my OneDrive. I can search on Unsplash, as I just mentioned to you. And I'd be quite surprised if there is Lincoln Memorial, and click search. And let's have a look. Oh, here we have some nice pictures. So we'll just use this picture here, click continue, and you'll see that that's there now, and continue again. And here I have the image, which is now in my Thinglink account page, and I can click on it, and there we have the Lincoln Memorial image ready to start tagging. But say I didn't want to use Unsplash, I wanted to use somewhere else. If I hit the create button again, you'll see this other little one here, which is designed with Canva. I don't know if you have a Canva account or not, but this is a really handy tool where you can use Canva, which is a very simple and easy to use tool. And I use that quite a lot, actually. I create images with Canva and videos and upload them. Or you can simply click upload and you can drag things over from your desktop. So now I've decided that I'm going to use the Unsplash integration. You'll see that I've done that. If you click create and you end up with another pop-up here saying what type of file you want to create, it's just handy tips. Just click on don't show that again, and then you won't see that again. So the other way to use Thinglink for the 360 images that we provide for you. So what you might want to do is, if you go to the Learning Center, there's a little introduction workshop linked to our Thinglink Certified Creator course. And if you scroll down past the 5 C's here, you can see there's a 360 library. And if you click on the 360 library, we've curated 360 images completely copyright free that you can use. And you are more than welcome to use these, clone them, annotate them. Now, I don't know if we've got Lincoln Memorial, but if I go into US state capitals, you can see that I've got lots of capitals here. We've tried to get 360 images which aren't just like the normal ones as well. So for example, you can go into work environments, and we recently, well, last year, put one which was a COVID testing center, because that was one that was asked for by a university. And if you click on the 3 dots at the top, you see you get this option to clone. You see my mouse went big there. If I click clone, it asks me if I want to clone one file into my files list. If I go back to my Thinglink account, go back to my content, you can see now I've got a clone of that, which is all mine, that I can edit. And that's great. Right, I'll go back to my content. What have I done with my thing? Right, let me just go back. It's because I'm in different accounts. Hang on a second. Right. Okay, so I'm going to click create and go back to Unsplash, and I'm going to choose my Lincoln Memorial. There we go. And click return. And it was that one there. There we go. So here I've got my concrete building near the green grass of the Lincoln Memorial. So now we've had a look at those types of base images. So we've looked at images and 360. We're also going to have a look at quickly of the different other types of media that you can use. And I'll click on slideshow again. So as I mentioned, you can use videos and 360 videos. And here I've got a little video just to show you that you can link them together. So that first image was an image of a stable, and you click on it, and then it takes you to a 360-degree video of what it's like to work in a busy stables. And I think that's a really, and then they've gone back to an image. So the nice thing is that if you create different types of Thinglinks with different types of base images, then you can link them all together, and it doesn't matter what you created. The editor is going to be exactly the same process. So what I'm showing you now is going to work for any type of those base media files. And I think that just looks great, having the 360 video. I can show you another example of that as well. Okay, so I'm going to now show you one more base image type, which is 3D models. Now this does have a different editor. So the other 4 have the same editor, but a 3D model has something a little bit different. But if you wanted to, you can upload a 3D model and add in tags as well. And if you don't have an iPhone, you might want to go to somewhere like Sketchfab, where you can obtain 3D models for free. iPhone 13s have now got LiDAR built in, which means you can take 3D models with your iPhone. And I've written some guidance on how to do that, which I will share with you as well. Okay, so now we've talked about those base media types, we'll look at what you can add in terms of the tags. And we're going to go in and have a look at that as well. So 5 different types of base media, and you've got 5 different types of tags. So the first tag is the text and media tag, this one here. And let me go back because I clicked on it. And the text and media tag is your most powerful tag type. You can add any combination of text and media. You can add in audio, which you can record directly in. And we're going to have a look at that right now. So I'm going to go back to my nice image of the Lincoln Memorial. Okay, so if I want to edit this now, there's a couple of ways in which I can do it. So in my account page, I can click on the 3 dots. They are known as ellipses, which is the proper name for them, or more actions. And then I can click on the edit pen, or you can simply click on the thumbnail, it opens that up, and then click on the edit button. And this brings up our Thinglink editor. So as I mentioned, the first tag that I'm going to show you is the text and media tag. So by clicking on the add tag, it comes up with a tag, and it might not be a heart. And this is the last tag icon that I used. So it remembers that I used that last. And it's just put this up, and I can move this anywhere around the screen, and you can move it after you've added content as well. So don't be afraid if you want to move it around. So I just want to put some general information about the Lincoln Memorial, and I'm going to use a text and media tag. There's our 5 tag types. So the first one, text and media. And you can see that I've got a pop-up box here that's completely blank. Now, to start adding information in this white pop-up box, you put your cursor on the left-hand panel and you can go through the options. So the first is the title. So I'll just say Lincoln Memorial. And then you can start adding in description text. You can add in a call to action button. But wouldn't it be good if I find some information to put in there? So I've just gone onto Wikipedia quickly on a Google search. Here we go, Lincoln Memorial. And I'm just going to cut and paste some information out, and I'm going to pop that in my description text. And there we have it. We have a text tag that's got Immersive Reader built in, because that's baked in, so people can translate this. And we've got a title and this description text. And then if I wanted to, I could put in a button here of my source. So back in my Wikipedia page, I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste that in my button URL here. You can see now I've got this button, but it's a bit boring. It says enwikipedia.org, so I can put some nice call to action text in there. Read for more information. There we go. So I've cited my source. I've got my nice button there. So the next thing that I'm going to look at on this text and media tag is if I want to add an image or video. Now I can upload an image if I wanted to from my desktop, or again, I could search on Unsplash for other images. Let's see what comes up. There we go. And I've got Lincoln Memorial, that's my dog whining. And I can pop that in here, and there we have. And people can click on that, makes it big. You can add loads of different images in there and they will just play as a carousel. I can now upload audio, or I could speak directly into this microphone if I wanted to, and it would record my voice, and that would play as soon as the tag was opened. So there we have a text and media tag, very simply, but that heart's not very kind of appropriate. I might not want a green heart. So Thinglink offers you over 2,000 different tag icon variations. So we'll have an eye for information, and I'll change that into a nice orange eye there. There we go. And that is as simple as it gets. We've now got a Thinglink with a nice text and media tag. It's got a call to action button. So if I click on edit again, you can see this edit, the editor comes up again. And if I click on the tag, you can see that I can edit that. And the great thing is if I've shared that Thinglink anywhere and I want to edit it, I just edit it in my Thinglink editor, and obviously it's going to update everywhere it's embedded because it's just a link to the source files. And that looks a little bit kind of, I don't know, it's like quite plain, isn't it? But you can actually change the layouts as well. So here you can change the layout and make it a little bit more interesting according to the content that's in there as well. So you have lots of different layouts that you can choose. I'll just stick with that one just to show you. I'm going to click done. So that's your text and media tag. The next tag that I'm going to show you is just a plain text label, and that's exactly what it says on the tin. It's a plain text label. So I'll just say taken from Unsplash. There we go. And again, I can change my icon eye and then put that there, and that's done. There we go. So that's just a plain text label which hovers over. But did you see something quite interesting? There's a little plus button there. Now, what I can do with this is I can put anchor tags on. So what that means is that if you've got intricate pictures of, say, human anatomy or a car engine or a complex compound, it means that you can put your tags and put a little anchor to wherever you want them to point to. And if you click on the settings, you can actually go in and change the color schemes for those anchor tags as well. You can also change the color scheme for your buttons and backgrounds as well. So I'll just click done. There we go. So we've got a text and media tag, and we've got a plain text label. So the next tag I'm going to show you is add content from website. Now, what this does is it simply is a tag where you can embed a third-party tool. Remember that I said to you about the ability to embed Google products like a Google Map, or maybe a form from Microsoft. You can embed any of those. And actually in my presentation, if you click on this one here, this is a Thinglink that I've embedded. I've actually put a link in there to a Google Sheet that I've created, which I've embedded, which has got a link of the most common things we see embedded into a Thinglink. So this is an embed tag, and I've embedded a Google Sheet, and you can see a list of all of these things that will be quite useful for you. And if you scroll across, I've put examples of those in action and some how-to instructions. So that's there for you to use as well. So I thought it'd be quite fun because obviously I live in Scotland and I don't know where the Lincoln Memorial is. I'm sure you all do. If I go to maps.google.com, and you can see that's where I am in Scotland. If I put in the Lincoln Memorial, there we go. And we fast forwarded, flown across to yourselves here. And if I click on the share button, you can see it gives me the option to embed a map. you can copy the HTML, and back in my Thinglink, I can just paste that in. And here we have this wonderful map, which is completely able to be viewed and moved around, and people can click on it. So we probably want another icon, which is quite fitting. So I'm going to look for a map icon. Let's give it a nice pink map icon. There we have it. So we've got a text and media tag, we've got a plain text label, and we've now got a map that's been embedded. So the next tag that I'm going to show you, which is pretty cool, is to create a tour. And this is where you are simply linking your Thinglinks together. So if I click on create the tour, it asks me to select a destination. I can select the destination, and it's got all of the Thinglinks here that are in my account page. So I know it's going to be really random, but here's the clone of the COVID testing lab. But it's the 360 I've got there that springs to mind. I'm just going to put COVID testing lab. And I can also put a conditional transition on there, which would be a question that people have got to get right before they progress to that. And I'm just going to change the icon to a plain arrow. There we go. So we've now got our Thinglink, which has got these 4 tags on. The last tag that I'm going to show you is the create the poll. And this is a quick fire snap poll type question tag. And I'm going to ask the question, is this helpful? And put the answers, one option on one line, yes, no. There we go. And I'm going to put a nice question mark for that tag. There we go. We'll have a green question mark and click done. And that's essentially your 5 tag types. So you've got 5 types of base media, 5 types of tags. And with that, you've got infinite possibilities about what you can do. A couple of extra things before I run out of time. So I showed you could change the color scheme. You can disable the animation so they don't pulse. You can also have a large pop-up window. So now that's a nice big window that's been requested a few times. So you can see that we've got large pop-up window. You can upload audio to play throughout the whole Thinglink. And you can also upload translations if you're familiar with JSON files, which means that people can download the Thinglink and play it in a different language. If you wanted to, you can turn off these buttons at the bottom, so you can debrand it, take off the large screen, and the squares are to show connected scenes, and you can search amongst those connected scenes, but you can disable that if you want to. That's popular for like escape rooms, those kinds of things. And I'm going to click done and done again. And there we have it. We have our pop-up Lincoln Memorial, few little things extra if you want to rename it. So it doesn't say white concrete building with green grass. We'll take that out and put Lincoln Memorial. And click save, so you can change the titles of it. You can also change the privacy. I've set mine to public as standard, but you might want to share it in between people that you work with or your students, so you can have it, they have to have the link to access it. Those kinds of privacy settings I'm sure you're familiar with. Now, this other one that I want to show you is super cool. So imagine that picture was incorrect and we wanted to change it. I can replace the background, and it will replace the background wherever it's been shared as well, because it's just a link to the source, which means that you can keep all your tags and just change the background. And of course you can move to trash and you can clone it if you want to. You also get stats. Obviously there's no stats because that's shiny sparkly new. You can get tag views and see how many times it's been clicked on and how many times it's been embedded as well. Now, one thing that I did talk about was accessibility, and that kind of ties in with the sharing. So you'll remember that we've got all these lovely tags. So we've got our 5 different tags types, and the text and media tag will open up with Immersive Reader. But if you wanted to use the web accessibility link, simply click on the share button. And if you want to embed it into a website or anything, you've got your embed code, and you can click include web accessibility link. And then it also puts a link below where you've embedded to click on and see the accessibility view. If you click on the share link, you can see you can get a standard link, hide the Thinglink interface so it doesn't have that top part, and you can also get a link to the accessibility player, and you click copy there. You can publish it to social directly to Teams, and you can also embed it directly in a PowerPoint. How cool is that? You literally copy the link of the media, and then if I go to office.com, where I should be, it's going to make me log in. That's going to take too long because I'll have to get my phone and do the two-factor authentication. But if you go into PowerPoint and click on add-ins, you'll see a support. There's a support article there that gives you all the instructions on how to do it. You can literally paste that link into your PowerPoint and it will work. It's super simple to use. And of course, with 360 content, you can use the web VR. One other thing I think is quite nice is that you can get a QR code. And I've seen schools create the most wonderful posters of like sketch notes or mind maps, and they put the QR code in the bottom of the poster, and it's got the Thinglink version with all of the voices and videos. I've seen that with school inspections and it just looks fantastic. So in essence, that's our Thinglink. And just to prove my point as to how well it works, if I click the share button, share the link and copy that, I can go into our chat and I can just paste it in there. There we go. And you'll be able to see that link. So there's one more thing. I know that I've probably only got a few more minutes. I'm happy to stay on and answer questions, but I know that this is your time, is that we do have another product in Thinglink, which is just superb, which is called the Scenario Builder. And Scenario Builder is just a wonderful way of creating branching scenarios. And I've made this one here, which is about fire safety, just as an example to get us thinking. So with the Thinglink Scenario Builder, you're able to click on the plus sign and you can add a scene, add a branching question, add a condition, put in a text block, a goal, and a jump to, so you can jump back to your questions. And this is super simple to add in your existing Thinglinks. It's literally just putting them into these branches, and Immersive Reader is built into all of the steps. And just to show you what that looks like, if I click on preview, here I've got a fire safety training demo. Click proceed. Would you like to proceed? No. This will be recorded on your HR record. Try again. Yes. Immersive Reader built into that as well. And it's all about how to deal with a fire in a kitchen. I've put a time limit on it of 10 seconds. You come across a small grease fire in the kitchen. Someone was cooking the fries and left the pan on. What you do? Throw water on it. And I've just put a video in of showing you what happens if you actually, put water on a grease fire. Everyone knows it just goes kaboom. So that's not the right thing to do. And I just put in some text. Click proceed. I made it worse and it's now out of hand. And then that pops me back to the questions. And of course, the right answer is to turn the heat off and use the fire blanket. I've just put a Thinglink in there with some information, 100 points because I've got it all right, bit of information and a well done Thinglink. And again, you could put lots of information in there. And then at the end, you get a nice congratulatory screen saying how many points you've received and your answers as well. And students, of course, could screenshot that, or you could use it as a little bit of instant discrete feedback. But of course, you can build this into your LMS system as well, and there's so much more that people can do with it. Now, if I go back into my scenarios, I've built this whole course, 10 modules, using it. But imagine the possibility of kind of risky situations in a safe environment. I've seen colleges use this to show what happens if you get arrested by the police, and the answers are decided by the conversation. So you could click on the response where the young person has a fight with the policeman and they end up in the cells, and then what happens if they deal with it with talking, and it just hits home. And I'll go back to what I said right at the very start at this presentation, which is what we want to see is those shiny eye moments, those moments of insight when young people truly get the concepts that you're trying to present to them. And I think I've talked enough. I'm going to stop there and ask questions, see if there's any questions. And David, over to you. Thank you.
Louise, that was wonderful. And I love the interactions and kind of responses in the chat box. Thank you also for showing us the Lincoln Memorial. I thought that was a perfect example from this city. So there were 2 questions I saw in the chat box. One of them was, can you use a YouTube video to make a Thinglink?
So we used to be able to do that, but YouTube stopped us from doing it because people were editing. But what you can do is embed a YouTube clip in the embed tag. So what you could do is create your own base image with a bit of information on, and then put the YouTube clip in the tag. So that's another way around of doing it. Don't forget as well, if you have a video Thinglink, you can embed Thinglinks as well into other Thinglinks. You can use the embed tag, and that works really nicely as well. I've actually got an example. I think it was in this one here. Am I still sharing my screen?
Yes, yes.
So here is a video of like how to hit a golf swing. It's not me, I can't play golf, I wish I could. But here I've got like the points to show, you know, head position. And I think at the end I've got, you know, oh, you look where the ball went. Yeah, so I put my tags along the timeline. So yeah, there's lots of possibilities. And that's a video Thinglink embedded into that one about demonstration of concepts. Works not really well.
Excellent. And I saw another one. Are faculty able to request 360-degree images to be added to the library?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
We have a partnership with 360 Cities. So, you know, we buy credits of them. But, you know, it's like, I think one of the nice things about doing some of those scenarios is actually working with students to create escape rooms or create the scenarios, so that you're kind of giving the learning back to the students, and then they can work in groups and test it out on each other. And then you've got peer feedback. I think, you know, don't be afraid to have a go at creating your own as well in context.
And that's a good segue. So for everyone on this call, our CAL team, we have GoPro cameras as well. So with those GoPro cameras, you can take 360-degree photos or videos and then integrate that really easily into Thinglink. I did that just using my phone, by the way. So I connected our GoPro to my phone, recorded a quick video, and then I was able to upload it directly into Thinglink just using the Thinglink app on my phone.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
There was one other question there, which was about scores to LMS.
Yeah.
So yeah, so with the scenario builder, if I go back in, there's let's just go to one that I think has been used before. Let's just go into this one. I don't know if I've got one that's been used. You can go into settings and you can use advanced tracking, and that means that people who are logged in to their Thinglink account that are creating it, you would be able to get their statistics. So if I go into statistics, obviously that was a dummy one, but you would see users progress here. And you can download a report, which is a CSV file of every single click that everyone took on that journey and what score they've achieved. And with LTI 1.3, that learning technology integration will feed back to your LMS.
Excellent. Yeah, great question from Drew there.
Yeah.
I see, Pat, how easy is it to edit sections of the scenario?
Yeah, really super simple. So if I go back into my, this is just like one with 3 different sections. Say I want to add in a 4th block there, I would add the block. So we had phone the manager, throw water, turn the heat off and use a fire blanket. We could say use the foam as one of the wrong answers. There we go. Click save, and there we have another branch there. So yeah, we are thinking about adding drag and drop to these branches for the future, but anything's editable. So if I click on here, I could add in another scene, another branch, condition, text block, goal, or jump to. So it's really, really simple to use. And you saw that I used that jump back block when we added water on, which jumped back to that question there. So on the handout, on the slides, I've put a link to the module that we've got, which has also got some guidance around planning scenario-based learning. And I've called it the 5 C's. And that's to start off with your context. Context is everything. And then think about the challenge. What is it that you want people to unpick and decipher? And sometimes a challenge where there's no right answer, but some answers are less wrong than the others are really cool for that kind of thing. Once you've got your challenge and your choices, then think about the consequences. You know, what can you do to show the impact of that choice? And do you want people to go back and have another go, or do you want to send them down some mystery path where they end up, I don't know, in the dungeons or something?
Definitely. And Louise, this is so exciting because I know that when I was using Thinglink personally last year, I loved it. And then I, told my team. So I'm so glad that UDC has access to this now. Are there any questions from the group before we say goodbye today? Well, before your final thoughts, Louise, I do want to put some links in the chat box for everyone here. So you'll see that in the chat right now.
Yeah.
If you do have any questions for us about Thinglink, you can go ahead and email me, but our email is calhelpdesk@udc.edu. We've also created some quick walkthrough and login interface guides and videos. You can find that on our Thinglink resources website. If you do have a consultation request, especially if you want to start using our mini VR glasses in coordination with Thinglink, just send us a consultation request and we'll go ahead and meet with you there. Thank you, Louise, for sharing your slide deck. That includes a lot of great links that are embedded. We have our office hours, our CAL YouTube. This will be uploaded very shortly to our YouTube channel, as well as our PD survey. Please let us know what you thought about our presentation today, Louise's webinar. And then if you have any suggestions for future webinars, just let us know. And last but not least, we have our Adobe Creative Campus webinar on Thursday. This will be on Thursday, May 19th from 12:30 to 1:30. We do have Creative Campus access to Adobe Acrobat DC, which is our PDF editor, and that will be a great one. That will be on Thursday at 12:30. And Louise, if there are no other questions, do you have any final thoughts for us before we conclude?
I'm just excited to see what you come up with and develop. And if I'm ever coming over to Washington, I will come and say hello.
Definitely. Yes.
I've got to come visit the Lincoln Memorial now.
I would suggest come in the fall or spring.
Okay.
Yeah, we have long winters and hot summers. So
okay.
Yes. Kevin, anything you want to add? Thank you so much for joining us today, Kevin. Yeah, I see Drew, May and September are nice. No thanks, no worries. Yeah, but the summer is really hot and it's already getting humid now. So yes, fall and spring would be great. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's a pleasure to have met with you all today. And yeah, don't be a stranger. You're always welcome to get in touch. I'm on Twitter as well, @ScotlandLouise, easy to remember. Welcome to chat anytime. And obviously Madison's there as well. She's my wonderful colleague who works with you as well. So don't forget to reach out to either of us. And thanks ever so much.
Yeah, Louise, I can't thank you enough. This has been a wonderful presentation. And again, for everyone on the call, if you do want to save the chat, I know there are many links there. Just go ahead and click on those 3 dots in the corner of your chat box. That will save the chat to your computer. And with that, I hope everyone has a great rest of your week, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you.